Dr. Carl Rolls, Director of Bands at Jefferson High School, and I reside at 420 Wiley Boulevard Northwest here in Cedar Rapids. I and my friends in the room here are to bring to your attention the state of our arts programs in the district, and my job is to offer a bit of historical context to where they used to be. Cedar Rapids used to have a musical empire until about 2010, marked by performances at the most prestigious conferences in the country. Midwest Clinic by the Jefferson Wind Symphony, the Washington Orchestra, West Side Delegation was heralded as one of the best show choirs in the country. When the Band of Blue marched the Rose Parade in 1998, the general high school programs fielded over 300 students, 912. I came to Jefferson because of that storied tradition, because of the rich history of musical success, just as dozens and dozens of other music teachers used to do until recently. But for the last 15 to 20 years, the district has slowly chipped away at our arts programs to the point now that our high school groups struggle to maintain even half of what those enrollments used to be. Our middle school programs are in critical condition, and our elementary music classes are on life support in danger of no longer existing. Perhaps it's hard to see that issue given that the most public-facing aspects are our high school performance groups, and we high school directors make it work out of sheer force of will. But underneath, our arts programs are a hollow shell of what they once had been and should be. Our numbers are low because the arts simply aren't a priority in this district, and we know that because of the continued reduction allocated to the arts in two of the most valuable resources available, time and money. We no longer see the kids for enough time at a young enough age to ignite any love of the arts. In Cedar Rapids, our elementary students get music instruction just 4 times a month if their schedule doesn't change and eliminate it for that week entirely. And some elementary schools this year didn't even have music teachers, creating issues of equity across the district. So how can we expect students to want to continue in the arts if they don't ever get consistent and meaningful experiences? Our middle school programs already didn't have enough class time to give students proper quality instruction to build their confidence and pride in what they do, not enough time to build a sense of community and belonging in the band rooms, orchestra rooms, choir rooms, so kids quit at the soonest opportunity. And now in addition to that, some of the middle school programs done individually in their buildings rather than equitably across the district. Some of those middle school music programs have seen reduction in FTE, further kneecapping their abilities to teach. And funding support for the arts in general is menial and often under threat to be reduced or even eliminated each year. I know the district is focused on enrollment numbers and that they're a consistent conversation topic since they have significant budgetary impacts. Our activities and fine arts programs are the front porch of our schools, even in the elementaries. They are the curb appeal. So what do families who are choosing where to buy a house see in Cedar Rapids schools districts? What are we offering families to keep them here? Why would they choose to be a have-not when all of our neighboring districts offer them the opportunity to be a have when it comes to the arts? We're focused on engaging students in their own learning, spending millions of dollars on academies and pathways and their accompanying construction projects. And while I support these endeavors, waiting 9 years until a student is in high school to engage them in their own learning is such a heavy lift. We're choosing to do last-minute patchwork instead of an early-phase optimization. Because study upon study demonstrates that earlier and more arts education leads to better outcomes for students. Better writing skills, math skills, social skills, emotional skills, and more engagement in school, all without their test scores suffering. Because in the arts, we're focused on process over product. I feel the schools in general have been pushed to focus so much on the product they produce, their test scores and their public report card. But if you take care of the students, if you focus on truly providing them the best learning environment, the test scores will take care of themselves. And the research bears that out. The arts can help with every measure in your current strategic plan, as noted on the success measures. Increased graduation rate, growth and proficiency on ISASP, reducing the learning gaps, enrollment, and yes, even behavior, because when students feel like they belong, they're engaged, and they find their community within the school, they find success. My call to action to you is this: engage with us in dialogue of what we need to service our students, and then demonstrate by your actions that you've listened and that you care, that the arts are an indispensable component of developing our well-rounded students. Thank you.
Ann Ort.
Hi, I'm Ann Ort, and I live at 215 Creekview Court, Hiawatha. And I'm going to try and get through this without crying, so we'll see what happens. Over the past 100 years, my family has had 4 generations of students attend a Cedar Rapids Community School. Standing before you are 3 of those generations. See, I told myself I wasn't going to cry, and look at me. Of those family members that attended, over half of them were involved in the arts in some facet throughout their entire school year. 3 of us became teachers, 2 specializing in music. I grew up in a time where there was a district-wide commitment to focus the most excellent arts education in the state. This district was the place to have your student attend to excel in the arts. Arts education was thoughtful, meaningful, and partnered with our community to provide a holistic arts education from K to 12. We had an arts administrator at the district level who cared, who listened, who understood what it took to build, maintain, and grow programs of excellence. Students could start a string instrument in the 4th grade or a band instrument in 5th. We had arts-centered field trips and assemblies. There was an in-district music contest, and we would compete around the Midwest against other schools. The competition between my peers and between schools was tough. We were challenged. The music we created was recognized on a state and national level, and our music teachers stayed in their jobs and built legacy programs of excellence. Every arts experience I had and lesson I was taught from K through 12 fueled my desire and gave me the future-ready skills to become a music educator, of which I have been for the past 25 years. But unfortunately, fast forward to now, and the strong art-centric environment that was cultivated through this district is dying. In many ways, the arts programs are so stripped of resources and focus, it's time to start over again. It is imperative to return to having a district-wide focus on delivering to our students a holistic, comprehensive arts education from K through 12th grade, taught by qualified arts educators. Let me repeat, holistic curriculum from K to 12, every week, more than once a week, taught by certified music teachers. You can't expect to have orchestras, jazz bands, choirs, marching bands, show choirs, speech teams, or musicals in high school without the core music education from day 1 of a student's education. They can't show up at high school with the bare minimum skills and expect to excel and be competitive. Why are there 9th grade boys in our varsity show choir? Because the lack of holistic and concentrated music education in this district is killing the growth and passion for involvement. Lynn Martin Prairie have so many kids that want to participate that the competition is fierce, and we have to recruit. Let me be blunt. We are being outperformed on so many levels by other districts in and around the city and state. I'm embarrassed. You should be too. We are so blessed to live in a community with one of the richest arts environments in the Midwest. The partnerships that once existed with these organizations and this district are dying or dead. The community outreach, in my opinion, has all but vanished at this point. Just like sports, the arts can positively affect community-wide economic growth and urban development. But for many of the families, the loss of focus on the importance of arts in the district as a core and important part of education leads parents to the choice to take their kids to other schools. I pray that the amazing educators that my student has right now don't leave before she graduates. The first step is to invite our arts professionals to the table and listen to what they have to say. They want to be part of the conversation, but they don't feel heard. What if the future could be sparked with merely some care, genuine concern, and honest conversation? You don't need money to spark change. Everybody got a writing utensil up there? I have a value statement that I'd like to leave you with today. It goes like this. As you fill in your role, I can help to rebuild a holistic, thriving arts environment in the Cedar Rapids School District by you fill in the blank. So the arts are a vital part of the curriculum and the lives of our students. Thank you.
Wrigley Ort.
Hi, my name is Vigley Ort. Music and theater are my passions. Through my involvement with speech, theater, show choir, and marching band, I have found my tribe. I have been taught discipline, how to be an effective communicator, and how to make amazing art with a diverse set of individuals. My passions are more than just after-school groups. They are a defining part of me, and most likely will be a part of my future career choices. Today I ask, what are you willing to do to ensure generations behind me still have an arts education and their K through 12th experience in this district? You must help start the conversations and listen to these arts educators, because every music learner in the district is not future ready. Let me explain. I can read music, but many of my peers in choir cannot. So we can't sing more challenging music. Our teachers in elementary and middle school wanted to teach us. Instead, they had to focus on classroom discipline for the students who didn't want to be there. I can play an instrument, but without private lessons that my parents can provide, I would not be able to keep up with my peers from other schools. Should I consider moving to another school outside of Cedar Rapids schools for the opportunities that other school districts can provide for their students? I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay at Kennedy. My current music and theater teachers are some of the finest educators in the state. They genuinely desire to see us excel and grow in our passions and lives. They spend hours in and out of school showing us how to push ourselves to be better actors, musicians, and people. They strive for excellence. They are all superheroes, but they are undervalued and under-resourced. They are making magic on shoestring budgets. I really worry that my arts educators may leave to teach somewhere else, or maybe will just quit teaching altogether. If you don't know this already, the students who participate in music and theater are some of the finest people in their schools, both academically and as human beings. We are student body presidents, national merit scholars, club officers, mentors, the top academic students in our classes, and we spend hours all year round practicing our craft. We want to excel. We want to showcase Cedar Rapids School District. Please help ensure that the legacy of the arts and music survives and thrives in our schools so that every learner is future ready. Thank you.
Nicole Wilkinson.
Hi, I'm Nicole Wilkinson. I live at 3604 Caribou Court Northeast. I'm here today to ask why the district has not been able to offer equitable arts programs to all of its students, why it's looked away as programs have plummeted, why the district hasn't upheld Iowa Department of Education standards pertaining to music education. Studies show that music accelerates brain development, improves focus and concentration, strengthens skills and problem solving, helps regulate emotions and reduces stress, and that schools with strong music programs see higher test scores and higher overall academic achievement. These are the things that I want for my children: strong arts programs that enrich them but also enhance their abilities to academic excellence. We're not native to Cedar Rapids, but we chose to move here after researching the schools and the community and verifying that it checked those boxes. Our oldest daughter started at Pierce in 2017. She was offered music programs in every grade and show choir in the mornings starting in third. She loved show choir, and we went as far as enrolling her into some community programs. Her little sister was also a fan, but had many years ahead of her before she could participate. When my oldest started at Franklin, she was excited because she could finally be part of competitions. And I found my community, a community of dedicated parents, volunteers, and people passionate about the arts. And we were lucky enough to be led by the best middle school show choir director. But River's final year at Franklin was also his final year. He announced he was retiring. It was also the year that I put in my largest number of volunteer hours for the program, and as a result, he asked if I'd be interested in applying for the tech director position. His ask was more than just a need to fill the current position. It was his acknowledgement that if the position went unfilled, it was likely to disappear the following year. He fought for those positions to be created before, and he didn't want them to be eliminated in his absence. There were no applicants, so I applied, and I was hired in the temp position. During that time, I learned more about the needs of the students, the needs of the program, and the areas in which the district was failing. I also got the impression, though he never vocalized it at the time, that if the district would have taken more action to enhance the music programs and to listen to the needs of its educators, he would not have made the decision to retire. He verified that accuracy of my impression after his retirement, and he gave me permission to tell you. Other music educators in the district also left at this time, some just going to nearby districts. Pierce Elementary lost their music teacher. This was my youngest third grade year, when she could finally enjoy her first year of show choir, but she had no music teacher, and she was devastated. I questioned the district, where were you in the hiring process for a music teacher? Had they received applicants? Was the enrichment teacher an adequate replacement? How does the district plan on grading students for a subject they weren't receiving? I was told there were only a handful of applicants, some of which received offers, all declined. Retired teachers were called and offered positions or were asked to substitute, all declined. Why? Why would what looked like from an outside perspective as a thriving program have so few applicants? I brought the subject to the next PTO meeting. Parents were upset, but I unwittingly brought their attention to another topic, the New Pathways program. This became the topic of bigger interest and ended my push for unanswered questions for the arts programs. I joined the parent committee hoping for more answers and to maybe have an opportunity to discuss the arts, but it wasn't to be. Also, during this time, the vocal teacher that was hired to replace the previous one I discussed at Franklin also left, and no warning. The show choir season had barely begun, and it looked as though it would come to a screeching halt. That community that I mentioned earlier is the only thing that saved that program. Parents came together to volunteer their time during rehearsals. Ultimately, one parent took over the role of director. She gave those students a program when the district failed them. So what was to come of the program at Franklin in the coming year? My oldest had a strong foundation and is currently in a strong program, but my youngest is missing out and struggling. Why would I keep her somewhere that no longer has the programs that are important to us in a district that doesn't seem to be listening to its experts? Better options were just minutes away. We pulled her out of Cedar Rapids in February of this past year. She's now enrolled in a school that offers choir in the 3rd grade, band in the 5th, and a comprehensive music class. And I don't think it's a coincidence that from the time she switched schools, she went from barely hitting benchmark scores to exceeding them. I understand the privilege I have in switching schools for my daughter that most families don't, but you're the ones failing them. You're not providing them with adequate instruction in the arts, and even worse, what little is being offered isn't even equitable across all buildings. The phenomenal arts programs we've had for years and years are fading, and the teachers and directors that are working tirelessly are going to continue to burn out with no one waiting in line to replace them. And more families will move just minutes away for the programs you've forgotten. Thank you.
Jay Birkin.
Hi, my name is Jay Birkin. I live at 265 Clymer Road, number 4 in Hiawatha. First, just a little bit of my background. My parents retired from the Cedar Rapids Community School District after working in the district for over 30 years. I chose to transfer to Wash due to bullying in another district and also due to the high excellence in the fine arts program. I have worked as a show choir assistant and choreographer at Wash since 2012, and I have been a para serving students at Wash and Bertram since COVID. I went to school with one of you, and I worked with 3 of your kids in show choir. So I know that you guys do want an excellence in the fine arts. We're just not seeing it. I am not anti-Cedar Rapids Community School District, and I am not anti-you guys. I'm not here to say we can't have change. We need better communication from you guys, and we need way higher learning standards. On the communication side, March 10th, we learned of the reduction in force. We were told that we were going to learn about our position by the end of that Friday so that we could have a wonderful spring break. On that Thursday, we were emailed that we were not going to learn until after spring break. Cool, I get it. March 31st, someone asked at a professional learning, and we were told by our para-union representative that the district was going to start looking at paras after April 21st. Cut to the professional learning on May 12th, where we were informed that gen ed paras will find out by the end of the week, and then cut to the next Monday is when I found out that I would not have my job. Now, I knew my job was being cut You could not touch special ed paras, so I knew that gen ed paras would be the one to touch. The 2 months of delay was unprofessional and made me not want to accept another position in the district. And I didn't. I did not go through the surplus pool. Why? You guys did not make us feel valued. That was too long. I knew I was losing my job. The communication issue is being heard here with Hoover and Van Buren, and also around the community with the Pathways program. You guys decide things and then tell us, and then you're surprised when there's pushback and immediately change your plans. I heard someone bring up the word trust. There is no trust in the school district board and the school district superintendent. None. We need higher academic standards. I worked with high school seniors who could not complete a 10 by 10 multiplication table if they needed to. They could not even go up to 50. It's really sad. Our standards are a D- standard. That's good enough. That is not why I transferred to the Cedar Rapids Community School District. That is not why I chose to work with the Cedar Rapids Community School District. That is not why my parents chose to work with the Cedar Rapids Community School District. We used to push students to take harder classes and have a more full schedule, and I know that at least one of the people on the board was a huge part of that. We have to pump up extracurricular involvement, which I know all of you agree with, and I know all of you believe, but it just has to happen because students don't want to come to school. They're not involved in activities. They don't involve themselves in their classes. It's just a vicious circle. We need to make our schools safe for queer students and staff. I was never once bullied at Washington High School for being gay when I was a student. I've had to fill out so many reports about students calling me a faggot, gay, spitting on me, calling me lots of different things. I won't say sorry since I'm not allowed, but I have actually tried to use the proper processes to contact people, and they've been immediately sent back to WASH admin, like the next day. Sent back, like the next morning I walk into WASH, hey, we need to have a discussion. No. The reason I contacted the district is because it's a district level problem that needs to be solved. So you tell us to contact you in the correct ways, but we then just get sent back. Dr. Grover isn't even here today. Why are we trying to be like Des Moines area schools? No one wants that. They are not thought of as successful schools. No one wants to be like the Des Moines public schools. Anytime I hear that, it makes me shut off. There was no plan B after Dr. Plagman was ousted, and we are struggling to fill the gaps caused by a vacuum of leadership. We're seeing that at WASH, Kennedy, and Jefferson. Thank you.